Stephen A., is it wise for the Steelers to have Antonio Brown trade rules?
Yeah, I think so. Because of the drama that has surrounded the Steelers. Normally, obviously, you want to keep all your options open. Because obviously, if the best offers come from somebody in the AFC, one would be advised to take something like that. We get all of that. That's obvious. But I think what's not so obvious but should be is the fact that the drama that has existed with the Pittsburgh Steelers leaves a lot of residue behind. And so if you are in the AFC and let's say you have to face Antonio Brown once or dare I say twice a year if you trade him within the division, which they should never do, then that just allows this stuff to continue to fester because he's arguably the best wide receiver in all of football. And it's not just recently, it's over the last 6 years. And when you look at him perform, you know how highly motivated he's going to be, not just to perform at an elite level, but particularly when he goes against you. All of a sudden, the residue of that is revisiting everything that transpired that led to his departure, the leadership or lack thereof of Big Ben Roethlisberger, the GM and the organization itself not taking care of Le'Veon Bell and not investing in him long term because he's going out the door as well. Whether or not Juju Smith-Schuster is worthy of being a number one and are his stats going to drop off upon Antonio Brown's departure or not. All of these questions are things that will continue to resurface in the event that you trade Antonio Brown within the conference or a division where his presence alone can elevate a team, could potentially cost you a playoff spot, have you thinking about all of those things. You want to get him as far away from that as possible so you don't have to, in other words, out of sight, out of mind. He's in the other conference. He's doing what he's doing. It has nothing to do with us. We're moving forward, and that's that. That's hard to do when you have to deal with this man.
Allow me to compliment that point. I think most of the argument against trading Antonio Brown in the conference, if not in the division, is that he's going to come back to haunt you and burn you. And I think about that. Come on, either you think you're better off with him or without him. What are you so worried about? And it's like not going for it on fourth down. You're so worried about getting second guessed, you won't do what's right for you. Don't be a coward. But Stephen A., you make a very strong point there. The point of the trade is to get the carnival away, get the circus away from the team.
Yeah.
And if he's certainly in the division, you're going to have to constantly deal with it anyway. I think that's a strong argument for trading him out of the division. But I think ultimately, even that argument is defeated by the idea that if you decide to trade a player, Ryan, get the best possible deal. Why are you worried about anyone else?
Well,
Worry about you. Get the most you can get for him. And if you're limiting trade partners right away, then a distressed asset that you're already not going to get equal value for, you're going to get even less value. Worry about you. Keep your side of the street clean. Don't worry about anyone else.
Well, I think what you guys are missing is all the pettiness that's been involved in this drama, and now the pettiness continues. Because, see, if I was with a woman for 9 years and we had this great relationship and we flourished together and all these great things happened, and then she decided to break up with me, I wouldn't be like, she couldn't call me back and be like, hey, I would like to talk to your best friend. Can you hook me up? That's not going to happen. I don't want to see her with my homeboy at the restaurant that we used to go to. Right? And then when my other friends see my best friend and my ex-girlfriend together, now they run back and tell me how great they're doing. Oh, I saw them the other night. They look so good. He got new suits now. She got on red bottoms. They're eating at this place and that place. They're getting brought out special appetizers. Don't nobody want to hear all that. And so when Stephen A. talks about getting the drama away, that is part of it. If you got to see him 2 times or if you have to see him once, the circus will be back in town for those matchups. If you're sitting at home and the New England Patriots are in the AFC Championship and Antonio Brown, like he's done for the last 6 years, has over 100 catches, has over 1,200 yards, has double-digit touchdowns, that's something else you have to deal with. This is not a situation to where the Pittsburgh Steelers feel like Antonio Brown can no longer play football because he's shown that he's done that. Antonio Brown has decided that he doesn't want to be a part of this team. And even if you feel like it's the best deal for you, if the Cleveland Browns give you all the draft picks you need, you best believe the Cleveland Browns aren't going to give you enough that they feel is going to stop them from winning the AFC North. You can't help those teams out. This will not be addition by subtraction if you make another team you have to compete against to win the Sticky Lombardi on your own side better. So for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have to make the choice to get him out of your hair, out of your way, one, so the circus doesn't come back to town every year, two, so he doesn't have an opportunity to come back and bite you in the butt because he is upset, because he is spiteful,
But why are you
and because
worried
we
about
all
that,
know
Ryan?
how
If you think
good he can be.
If you think you made the strongest team possible, what do you? In the division, I understand that argument, but in the conference, you don't want him in the AFC because it might come back to burn you.
They said New England, right? And being a
He ain't
Pittsburgh,
gonna beat New England anyway.
yeah, being a Pittsburgh Steeler, I'll be honest, when you went into games against other teams, whether it was the Baltimore Ravens, if it was any other team, the Cincinnati Bengals, if it was any other team outside of our division that was playing really well, it wasn't a question, right? When the Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed in the playoffs, we were like, I can't wait to go back to Tennessee to play them because we know that we are better than that team. I can be honest on national TV about this. When you walked into Foxborough, no matter how good we were defensively, offensively, how well coached we were, we understood, hey man, this is a different day. You got to play a little differently when you're playing Tom Brady. Dick LeBeau, our defense coordinator at the time, who's a Hall of Famer, came up with a different plan the time we beat him in Pittsburgh because he said, you know what? We can't do what we always do, which has us as the number 1 defense year in and year out and beat Tom Brady.
Ryan.
So you're not going to make that team better.